inspirational and motivational. Here I love how get a better mindset and set your goals. Here I love how educational things you need to know. Here I love how like credit, home buying, loans, and much more. Here I love how the space for education, motivation, and inspiration. Love how the space for education, motivation, and inspiration. Love how.
Hey, 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 hey. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Home Buyers Clubhouse. Hello, Erica. How are you doing today, honey?
Hello. I am doing wonderful today.
Great audience. How are y'all doing today? For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Jessie Lynn. I am a triangle realtor with A to Z Realty. And Erica Batts, she's in there somewhere. She's gonna come back. I guess she's trying to fix her camera. But anyway, welcome to the Home Buyers Clubhouse. Today we are talking about the home buying process. It is National Home Ownership Month. So there she go. Let's add her back. Hey, Sunshine, welcome back.
Hey.
I tried to give you time to turn off your camera.
Thank you. I was like,
Introduce yourself to the audience, honey.
I am Erica Batts. I am your home loan chick. I am your mortgage loan officer. I am happy to be here today.
Good. We're glad to have you, honey. Glad to have you. So I was just telling everyone that we're talking about the home buying process. Why are we talking about the home buying process again? Because it's National Home Ownership Month. And no matter how much we talk about the home buying process, people have questions. People have different questions. So if you have any questions, drop them in the box below. But anyway, you guys, let's get started let's talk about the home buying process. So first step, the very, very first step to the home buying process is you definitely want to do your research and you want to check your credit score and also review your finances. Erica, what kind of credit score should they be looking for and how can they view their credit score?
Well, your minimum credit score for most loan products is going to be 580. And they can get their credit report, their credit score on myfico.com. That's myfico.com. There's a lot of other. That's where you're going to get the credit report, the credit score that most lenders are going to use to evaluate your credit. Now you see a credit score on places like Credit Karma, other places, but a lot of times that's not going to be the score that lenders are going to use to loan you money.
Awesome. So also, what's the goal? What scores should they look for? What are some numbers should they look for? I mean, and what numbers should they look for?
You should look for your whatever your tri-merge, and that's all three credit bureaus. We take whatever score is going to be in the middle of that. So if you have let's say that you have a 550, a 575, and a 600, well, your middle score in that scenario will be 575. So, we are looking for generally a 580 or above. There are some down payment assistance programs that do require a higher score. There's some that require as low as a 600. There are also others that you may have to have a 680 in order to get those programs.
Yes. So that was some great information, Erica. So step number one is you definitely want to view your credit scores. They are reviewing all three credit scores. So when we ask you your credit score, don't just give us one. They are going to review all three of your credit scores, not your highest, not your lowest. They're choosing your middle score. All right. So number two is let's determine your affordability. So typically experts recommend spending no more than 30% of your gross monthly income on housing costs. Erica, what does that mean?
That means you take whatever your gross income is and get 30% of that number. So that means if you make $1,000 in a month, then you take 30% of that, which would be $300. That's what you should be spending of your income on your housing costs. Now, housing costs are also going to include things like maybe your taxes or your insurance or those type of things are included with that as well.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So the next thing you guys want to do is you definitely want to check with the mortgage lender. Your mortgage lender, they can so you want to get pre-approved. I know you're going to be anxious to look at homes and all of that. You're going to be anxious to get started with the home buying processes, but the next step is finding a mortgage lender and getting pre-approved for a mortgage loan. And Erica, why is this important also? And also explain to them the pros and cons of a pre-approval letter and a pre-qual letter, because it's so many things that could go wrong with one of them.
Yes. So a pre-qualification letter is basically a letter where we've just taken your word for it. You've told us that you make $10,000 a month, and we're saying based on you making $10,000 a month and your credit, the things that we've pulled from you, then this is the amount that we can pre-approve you for. Usually, or pre-qualify you for. Usually, with an actual pre-approval, we've checked out what you've said. So we've gotten paycheck stubs, we've gotten W-2s, we've gotten things to back that up. So that's just like saying, hey, you look like you can bench press 300 pounds versus saying, no, I've proved that you can bench press 300 pounds. So one of them is what we assume that you can do based on, this set of criteria that you've told us. And the other one is what we've proven that you can do.
Boom. And look, y'all, I have this conversation with my clients a lot. There are so many things that could go wrong with the pre-qual. If you have a pre-qual letter and before you have a pre-qual letter before you go on the contract, you're putting up due diligence money. And what due diligence money is, it's non-refundable in North Carolina. So it depends on your market, but people are putting up $5,000, $8,000. And I was making some calls the other day to some of my database, and the girl, she said, yeah, she went under contract last year, and she's saving. Why? She's saving because she went under contract and her loan fell through. Her loan fell through after she went under contract, and she lost all that money. And she said she lost about $8,000. So understand this: due diligence is non-refundable, whether it's your lender's fault or not. You definitely want to make sure you have been pre-qualified. And also, I do recommend that you guys go ahead and get see if your lender does underwriting up front as well. Yeah, because you don't want anything to pop up that you could risk losing your money. Yeah. So yeah,
I will say
that's
this
why it's very
correct.
important.
One of the other things I will say is pay attention to what your lender tells you and follow those guidelines. There are some people that end up in that situation and it's not the fault of the lender. I've had some where they didn't tell me about a lien that they had, like IRS debt that they have. I've had some where they went and purchased something else after we've pre-approved them. Then they went and bought a car. So things like that. So, don't buy anything else. Any money move that you make once you get that pre-approval, you need to check with your lender.
Definitely. And and I said that in that way because the first person they're going to blame is the real estate agent or the lender. So, and that's why I said whether it's your lender's fault or not, because they're going to automatically blame one of us. But you have to be honest up front, and you have to communicate. You have to 100% do all of those things up front, because I'm telling you, if they don't find it right now, they're going to find it later. That's why you need to make sure that you do your due diligence and you are being honest, because it's going to come up.
Absolutely.
Whether it's 3 weeks before you close or 3 days before you close, it's going to come up. All right. So the next step is to find a real estate agent. Having a trusting and reliable real estate agent can make things a lot simpler, and it can calculate your investment. So I'm gonna tell you the difference between a real estate agent, a realtor, let's say a real estate broker, because in North Carolina we have brokers here, real estate broker, a realtor, and well, that's kind of a sales type sales thing. But anyway, a real estate agent and a realtor. A realtor, we have a certain level of ethics that we must follow. So many times we're going to ask you if you are working with another real estate agent, because it's not ethical for us to steal clients. We have to follow ethics. We have to follow certain rules. We can't discriminate. We can't do certain things. We have rules and different things that we have to make sure that we follow whenever you're buying a home. And then again, whenever you sit down and you have your real estate agent, y'all are going to do a buyer consultation. And I normally have my buyer consultation done prior to meeting a lender, but I've also had people who's done their due diligence and they've already gotten pre-approved before going under contract. Okay. So that's why but if you've already been pre-approved, we're going to sit down and we're going to do a buyer consultation. During this buyer consultation, like I said, we're going to talk about the due diligence money. We're going to talk about the real estate process. And again, remember, due diligence money is not refundable, but your earnest money, you can get that money back. Okay. And once you go on the contract, you find a house that you like and you love, you're going to go on the contract, and that's when you're going to choose your dates and all of those different things. But again, just make sure that you are connecting with someone who's willing to sit down with you and talk to you about these things, because it's a lot. And it's very easy for you to get overwhelmed. Not saying you're not going to get overwhelmed whenever we start the process, but it's very easy. It's easy, but it's a lot. But that's why you have your real estate agent. That's why you have your realtor. That's why you have your real estate broker, so they can walk you through this process. Erica, you got anything you want to add to that section?
I will also say, find a list of questions. Find a realtor that or an agent that specializes in that particular area. Because I feel like we all know real estate agents, but you may know somebody who does it on a part-time basis that may not really, they're not going to be available to show you a property at 8 a.m. because they have to go to work at their regular job. If that's something that's important to you, then that's a question that you need to ask. If you have somebody who, let's say that they're a real estate agent in Asheville, North Carolina, but you're buying a house in Winston-Salem, then you may want to find a person who specializes in the area of Winston-Salem.
There you go. That's good advice. All right, y'all. So once you find a house, because again, this is now, and we talk about this a lot. We talk about this here because it's so important to have a good mindset. And Erica, I think we need to rewind a little bit as well, because one thing that I didn't mention was making sure that you guys, step one, you should definitely make sure you save up some money. And it's very important to have some money saved up during the home buying process, because you got to pay for your inspections, you got to pay for appraisals, you have to pay closing costs, your down payment. It's so much and it adds up so quickly. And whether you have down payment assistance or not, or 100% financing, you're still going to have to pay some other fees. So it's definitely important to have this conversation with your lender up front, like whenever they pre-approve you. So, okay, lender, just give me a number, pull it out of the sky. But let's say if I was pre-approved for this amount, Erica, don't y'all give them an estimate up front?
We do. And so once you get your pre-approval, you should also get your closing cost worksheet that tells you what your estimated closing costs are going to be. And it kind of breaks down the fees, the things you can shop for, all of those different pieces of that puzzle should be included with your pre-approval.
There you go. And look, y'all, it's gonna break it down, and it's an estimate because your taxes are going to be different in different places. So many things are going to vary whenever you are shopping for a home and whenever you get the home. So I know it just depends on how close you are to your top number, but I definitely recommend that you reach out to your lender before making that offer to make sure that you can be approved for this property, because your taxes could be higher, your HOA, a lot of those things could affect your whether your DTI and all of that. So Erica, is that something that you normally recommend, or do you do
Absolutely,
it
because
differently?
just things like your interest rate could have changed. And like if you were at the top of your budget, if interest rates go up by 0.25%, that could mean a difference in you being pre-approved for 375,000 versus 365,000.
Right. And another conversation that I normally have with people whenever they talk about pre-approvals and different things, I always say, look, all right, I know you want your payments to be at this amount right here, right? You want your payments to be at this amount. You don't want to go above this amount. But I always say, hey, look, just because you're approved for $800,000, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and get a home that's $800,000. So that's the same thing for people who may be looking at a $500,000 house, a $400,000 house, a $300,000 house. If you are pre-approved for a $300,000 house, you definitely don't want to hit your max amount, because anything could change and then you could risk losing your due diligence money again, which is written to the seller, and you won't get that money back. So this is why it's so important for you guys to make sure that you have these conversations with your lender. Like, very important, because a lot of people, they go into the home buying process blindsided, and if you don't have a real estate agent that's walking you through the process, if you don't have a lender that's explaining it to you and you're just signing stuff, I've seen this too many times. I'm like, have you received this yet? No, I haven't received that. They've already signed it and don't even realize it, because the lender is not explaining these things to them. Got anything you want to add to that, Erica?
No, not at all. That's really great advice.
Yeah. So know what you're signing. Ask those questions. It's okay to ask questions, because things like that could definitely come up. All right. So once you make your offer, right away, your due diligence money is due. Your earnest money is due. Right? Earnest money, you may have a few more days. So this is something that you definitely want to talk to your agent about, because this could be negotiated up front. So due diligence money is due at this time that you sign that contract. Once your contract is executed, that money is due. Your earnest money, there's a section on the contract where you can ask for your earnest money to be due, right? It's up to 5 days, right? So you don't have to pay that right away. And especially if you know you may not have all the money at the time, communicate that with your real estate agent, okay? Because we can negotiate that. When you make your offer, same thing as far as your closing dates. If you know you have scheduling issues, don't wait until you go on the contract and then decide that you can't close on that day, because again, those cards are in your hand. And these are conversations that we're having as we're going over the contract. But again, I know you're zoned out. There's a lot going on, so you may not really understand. Ask those questions. I like when my clients ask me questions. Ask those questions, because I want you to understand what I'm saying, what we're discussing, because I'm explaining it to you for a reason, if that makes sense. So ask those questions. Ask your real estate agent any questions that you have. But what's negotiable in your contract? Your purchase price is negotiable. You don't have to make an offer for the list price. But look, that does not mean you need to go below the list price either. What your real estate agent is going to do is they are going to do something that's called a CMA, which is a comparable market analysis. They're going to prepare this for you. And what that is doing is pulling properties that's similar to yours, that's the same size as yours, that's in the same condition as yours, and same design, same that's a size, same size as yours. That's what they're doing. And then they're gonna say, hey, look, I recommend that you bid between this and this, because this is what's selling in this market. As a real estate agent, we can't tell you what to bid on this property, but we're going to give you a range. And for myself, if it's one of those neighborhoods where the comps are tough and I can't find anything that's similar to your property, I'm going to tell you up front. Okay. But again, the list price is not what you have to offer, but I wouldn't just recommend that you just go in and bid because the house need a paint, bid less because the house need a paint job. Okay. Again, the market is slowing down, but we are still having multiple offer situations. But this is a conversation that you need to have with your agent because each market is different. Just because this market is having multiple offers and having bidding wars, it does not mean that your market requires is having multiple offers and bidding wars. Same thing when it comes to your due diligence and your earnest money deposits. There's no set number on these deposits, right? But each market is different. And if you want to win in certain markets, you do want to make sure that you want to make sure that your offer is stronger. Your deposits are stronger than most people because sellers, they love due diligence, but again, it's risky. And some buyers are not willing to risk that due diligence amount, but they like that because that check is written directly to them. Okay. And same thing, your due diligence date, your earnest money, you can get that back if you back out before the end of your due diligence period. So that's negotiable, and that's about 21 days. And during this time, you want to make sure you're doing your inspections. You want to make sure you are doing all of your due diligence, ordering your appraisals, because if anything happens and you can't negotiate with the seller, you want to back out so you won't lose your earnest money deposit. Audience, do y'all got that? Y'all got that? Because so many times we get these two confused and we get them mixed up. But do y'all have any questions about the earnest money deposit and the due diligence deposit? Erica, do you want to add anything on to what I just said?
No, that is great advice. It's spot on.
Awesome. So I know that was a lot, but all of those things are negotiable. Your list price, your asking price, your due diligence, your closing date is negotiable as well. And your due diligence period is negotiable. All of those things are negotiable in the contract. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
No.
All right. So moving on. So once your offer is accepted, we are going to order inspections and we're going to do your appraisal. You have control of who you choose to do your property inspections. And with your property inspection, you're going to hire a property inspector to go into the property, to check the property, to look for any issues that you can't see, that's hidden behind all of this pretty stuff that you see in the house right now. That's what the inspector is doing. They are hired to do that. Erica, what's an appraiser? And does the buyer get to choose who their appraiser is if they are getting a loan?
They do not. The lending company will contract with an appraiser. An appraiser basically is a person who comes out, they inspect the house, and they tell you what the house is worth. So they will look at, different things. They will compare it against similar homes that may have sold in your neighborhood, just like you were talking about with the CMAs, how your realtor determines, okay, well, I think this is a great price for this particular house. And an appraiser actually does something similar, and they will determine, again, what that house is worth based on where it is, what has sold around it, all of those things.
And the difference between what a realtor is doing and an appraiser is doing, an appraiser can put value on a property. A realtor can't. Y'all see that? That's the difference. So that's why they hire an appraiser versus a realtor. We can give you a range on what this property is worth, what it's selling for, based on what's going on in the neighborhood. The appraiser, they can actually give you a value on that property. But what many people don't know about an appraisal is it's only good for one day. So tomorrow, a different appraiser can come out and it can be a different value. So y'all, a lot of people really need to understand that the value of properties go up and down. And we saw that last year in a big neighborhood that I know of. Well, just throughout the market, the market was booming. And then everything dropped around November. Sales went down. Why? Because the buyer said, heck no, these interest rates are crazy. I ain't shopping no more. I'm holding off until they go back down. How's that working out?
Right. So a lot of people are still, they're concerned about interest rates that are 6 and 7%, yet they continue to pay 100% interest while they're renting.
Yes, exactly, Erica. So, but that's what happened. The value was good today. The value was at 500,000. That next month, that value was at 300,000, 400,000. So all I'm saying to you is an appraiser, they can put the value on the property for one day. The value is only good for one day. It's not good for tomorrow. All right. So once you order your home inspections, you order your appraisal, and I want to change the order of this. Your homeowner's insurance. I would say look for that as soon as you go on the contract as well. Why am I saying that? Is because whenever they do, they with your homeowner's insurance, the insurance company, they can let you know like what claims have been filed on this property, what claims are open on this property. So that's why I say do that right away. If it's flood insurance, if the house is flooded multiple times, like you can kind of see and you have an idea about this before the end of your due diligence period. So that's why I would say I would put that in the same order as your home inspections and your appraisals, because you want to know the history on that property. You got anything you want to add to that, Erica?
No.
No. Well, let's talk about a final walkthrough, Erica. You want to tell me what a final walkthrough is and why it's important to a lender?
A final walkthrough is when you go into the house just before you close to make sure that everything is done. That's going to make sure that any repairs that you've requested have been done. That you want to make sure that whoever is, was living in the house prior to you has moved out. All of those type of things are things that you're looking for. You want to make sure that that house is in the same or better condition as it was when you looked at it.
Right. Because thank you, audience. Thank you for the likes. But yes, definitely. We've seen situations where, because believe it or not, you will have some buyers say, I don't want to do a final walkthrough. Why I gotta do a final walkthrough? They really, some buyers are excited, but for the people who's bought multiple homes, they don't care about that. And they don't want to do a final walkthrough, but that house could have flooded. It could have had a fire. They could have went through and stole all the fixtures out. The house could be a mess. They could still be in the house. So this is why you want to make sure you go ahead and do the final walkthrough. You usually do this the day of closing, or I would say the evening of before you close, because again, you don't want to go in there 2 days before. I've had people ask me, could they come in 2 days before? But what if the house flooded last night? Or same thing, that could have happened before you went to closing 12 hours before. But still, I think you still have a better chance than it flooding overnight than it did 2 days before, because anything could happen. So that's why it's important for you guys to do the final walkthrough.
And then as a seller, you want them to do the final walkthrough. So just like I had a situation where I had a person they were selling one house and purchasing another house. The house that they were selling, they had already moved out. It was winter time. You can guess what happened. The pipes burst the day before that they were supposed to close. So now, so when the new buyers went in to do their final walkthrough, the house is flooded. So now they don't want the house. So whereas the seller was buying another house, so then that put everything on hold. So now you can't buy, your new house because you haven't been able to sell the other house. So those are things that, you definitely want to do, because you never know when it could be, and it could be something that's totally out of your control, like the burst pipes or vandalism. That has also happened. Where, somebody went in, some local kids went into a house and they completely wrecked the walls. They tore down the refrigerator, like all of these things in a house. And once you buy that house, that is your house. So any problems that arise are now your problems.
Exactly. And Erica, you said something earlier before we wrap it up, because it's important to get this clear to close, right? But you said something earlier. Once you get your pre-approval, you guys, or you thinking about buying a house, you don't want to add anything to your credit. So you don't want to add any extra. You don't want to go out and buy no car. You don't want to finance a car for your boyfriend, for your girlfriend. You don't want to co-sign for nobody while you're going through this process. You don't want to swipe those credit cards. You don't want to add any debt while you are going through this process. You don't want to change your jobs. You don't want to start moving money around. If you are doing any of these things, or you are thinking about doing any of these things, you need to talk to your lender. Because I know some people, they get pre-approved for a house and then they say, oh, well, let me go get this car. Shoot, that means I can get a car too. Don't do that, because you're going to be living in that car. You want to get furniture. You're excited. You're so close. You've gotten your clear to close. That means the lender, they've checked everything. Everything has been verified. Now you want to go buy furniture. Do not add anything, because they're checking everything up until the very last day, until you sign this stuff. You definitely don't want to add anything until you get those keys in your hand. Erica, what's a clear to close? What have you guys done? What's underwriting? What are you guys doing, and why underwriting is like so important, and why? I mean, just, and then we'll be wrapping it up.
The underwriters are basically people who they are checking again your loan against the guidelines to make sure that Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all of these people, they're going to purchase that loan. And so they have certain guidelines that each loan has to meet in order for that to, in order for that to be done. So that is definitely, even once you get to clear to close. And basically what that is they're saying, hey, we have checked everything and we're giving you the okay to close this loan.
Boom. And they're checking your employment up into the very last day as well. So they're
checking everything. So don't make any financial decision that you want to make. Check with your lender. I've had loans fall apart because the person decided to go from being a W-2. They were doing the exact same job, but they went from deciding to be a W-2 employee to a 1099 the week before closing. They could not close.
That's crazy.
And they were like, well, but I'm doing the same job. That's a financial decision. Check with your lender before you make any financial decisions.
Take that job 2 days after you're closing. Stop playing. Like, yeah, don't make any big changes, you guys. And then after you do your final walkthrough, after you get your clear to close, you will close on your home. And that means you get the keys the same freaking day here in North Carolina. Once you close and the property is recorded, you get your keys and you get to walk away and move into your new home the same doggone day. So yes. So step one, let's go. You want to check your credit score. You definitely want to start saving. Step 2, determine how much you can afford. Step 3, you definitely want to get pre-approved. Next, you want to find a real estate agent. Then you start your home buying process. You're going to make an offer on your property. You get your inspections and your appraisals done. You order your homeowner's insurance. You do your final walkthrough, and you got your new home. You close on your property. Yes. It's not as complicated as it sounds, you guys. It's very easy. It's very simple. Once you take that first step to getting pre-approved, it's almost impossible to come back and let something just get added on your credit out of nowhere and you knew nothing about it. But that's why the lenders make sure you don't have anything in dispute. You guys, we are doing like a 2-hour workshop on Saturday, June 24th. It's a home buyer workshop. We're talking about home ownership. We're talking about credit. We're talking about all of that. So make sure you guys join us, because it's a Zoom workshop. It's not going to be live on Facebook. It's virtual. Make sure you sign up on Eventbrite. If you want to click this screen right here really quickly, let me find a barcode. If you want to click on this barcode right here very quickly, scan it real quick, sign up on Eventbrite, and we'll see you guys on Saturday. It's National Home Ownership Month. Don't let anything hold you guys back from the home buying process. Y'all have any questions, y'all can always drop them below. And also, you can inbox us, find us on YouTube and on Facebook. But for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Jessie Lynn. I'm a triangle realtor with A to Z Realty. You can reach us at 919-818-9854. Miss Erica Batts.
And I am Erica Batts. I am your home loan chick on most social media platforms. So I'm your mortgage lender. You can reach me at 919-608-7916, or you can reach me at ericabats.com.
And if y'all guys want to find us in the Home Buyers Clubhouse, y'all can find us at www.thehomebuyerclubhouse.com. You can find us on Facebook and on our private page, and in our private group, and on our page at Home Buyers Clubhouse. And you can find us on YouTube at The Home Buyers Clubhouse. We hope you guys have an awesome day. We hope you have an awesome weekend. Again, I hope to see you guys in our home buyer workshop. It's our first time home buyer masterclass, and we'll see you guys on Saturday. We hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.